This is a hell of a team. Yeah, this is a three-peat. And you might be hearing that song at another three-peat if things go well for the Birds this year. But this is a three-peat, and the people who deserve the credit are right upstairs. We are back to work in the morning. I'll be going back in there in a minute. Because as for this election, we can now blow the whistle. Now, having said that, I have a few official comments, and then I have some political comments, and we will go from there. We have been thinking about a third term for several months. It would have been presumptuous before yesterday to talk about that, because we respect the voters, we respect the electoral process, we respect their energy to promote safety, justice, and preserve democracy. We respect all of that, but we started anyway because we have to be as prepared as possible. We have personnel right now who are working full-time on a series of best practices, a series of policies, a series of ideas for a third term. But that's not good enough. What we actually need is ideas from the public. It is from the people most affected by our criminal justice system. We need to stay connected to that and connected to them. So I am asking the residents of the city of Philadelphia, people of goodwill, people who care about each other, I'm asking for ideas. And this is how you can get them to us. There's an email where you can email your ideas. Feel free to include phone numbers or anything else that you have so that we can get back to you. But that email is justice@phila.gov. Let me repeat that. JUSTICE@phila.gov. Please get us your ideas, your thoughts. If you're a criminologist, please. If you're clergy, please. If you're just a good neighbor, please. If you're a mentor, please. If you are or have been a victim or a survivor of crime, please. If you are or have been a witness, a juror, even a defendant, we want your ideas. We want to take them into account, and we will, closer to the inauguration, be announcing very publicly and very specifically the goals that we have, the landmarks we hope to hit in a third term. But make no mistake where it starts. It starts with more safety and more freedom. And one of those freedoms is the freedom to vote. It is the freedom to have a democracy. I think you know where we're going with this, but I need your help and I need your ideas after such an amazing political day yesterday. And now I will turn to a few political comments. Well, let me see. So the mayor-elect of New York had something interesting to say last night, and I think it bears some kind of repetition. Donald Trump, are you listening? You better turn up the volume because Philadelphia is talking to you. Harrisburg, are you listening? I encourage you to turn up the volume because Philadelphia is talking to you. And yes, you are all political enough to know that the following matters. During the administrations of Lynn Abraham and Seth Williams, voter participation, and by that I mean the percent of voters who came out and voted, in this election cycle, these election cycles are always off year, it's always relatively low turnout, right? But the voter participation in those years was 9%, 12%, 9%, 12%. When we ran in 2017 with a reform agenda, we ran 6 months after Donald Trump became president, won the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania by only 40,000 votes. Our election, it wasn't 9% or 12% like Lynn Abraham and like Seth Williams. Our election, there was 19%. And everybody, every political expert was shocked because we had turned out 50,000 unexpected votes in one city after Donald Trump won the state by less than that, by 40,000 votes. But the story gets bigger. So they're at 9 to 12%. 2017, we had 19% participation. 2021, when the whole country was in the midst of the pandemic, dealing with horrific levels of gun violence, participation went up again, 21%. Remember, they were at 9% and 12%. In 2021, participation went to 21%. And here we are in the year 2025. What was the level of voter participation in Philadelphia in 2025? It was 32%. Okay? Lynn Abraham, Seth Williams got out 9 to 12% of the vote. And then we offered a different vision, which was not all built on mass incarceration, maximal punishment. It was built on human dignity, science, numbers, prevention, modern enforcement through forensics. We don't have 9 to 12% anymore. We have 32% turning out. Can you hear me, Donald Trump, in Washington, D.C.? How's your midterms looking? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a good idea to make sure that children don't have food? Do you think it worked out for you to try to make sure that children don't have adequate health care? Do you think it's a good idea to limit the books they can read and deny them proper funding for public education? Do you think it's a wonderful idea to have outbreaks of measles because you and your lunatics don't care about children? Well, I think Philadelphia just told you something, which is that they've had enough. There is a phrase that Gandhi used to use, and I say this because it was one that Dr. King talked about all the time. And that phrase was that what you need to do when you have the moral high ground, but others have the money, or they have the power, or they have the troops, what you need to do is make the oppressor bear its claws. The oppressor bear its claws. And then the whole world sees the claws, and the whole world knows what side is right. There has been too little discussion in the media, in politics, in general, about morality, about what is right and wrong. We have unfortunately devolved into a narrative that is about who's winning. Will he get away with it? He smashed the White House. Will he get away with it? He's gerrymandering state after state. Will he get away with it? Well, I got a different question. Is it wrong? It's obviously wrong to smash the White House and particularly take aim at the wing of the White House that was and is about the First Lady and about women. Of course it's wrong to try to deny people their right to vote. Of course it's wrong to starve children. Of course it's wrong to come up with a taxation system that just makes the richest people richer and puts the rest of us, those who are working hard, sometimes working 2 jobs, into tax servitude with tariffs and burden shifting when it comes to taxation. Well, we need to stick with that. I will say this, though. Having now seen the results from last night, it is not just that voter participation has gone up and up and up in dramatic and unprecedented ways. It's not just that. The margin of victory for the Reform Prosecutor's Office in Philly has also gone up. The margin of victory yesterday was 51%. Anybody in politics will tell you that Mamdani's victory in New York, which is about 10%, 9%, that's a huge margin. The margin here is 51%. It is a margin that has grown. It's a total number of voters who have grown. It's voter participation that has grown. This is what happens when the tent gets bigger. And yes, there are victories everywhere. Victories in Virginia, not just the governor, also the Reform Attorney General in Virginia. There is a victory for the Reform prosecutor in Manhattan. His name is Alvin Bragg. He just won again. Anybody wants to talk about how Reform prosecution is dead, you're not watching the facts. Stephanie Morales, another Reform prosecutor, was just reelected again. Mark Dupree has his three-peat. Mark Dupree, the Reform prosecutor in Kansas City, won that last year. And I could go on and on and on. But the reality is that my Democratic Party, this Democratic Party, has to be a big tent. It has to welcome in those who are more reform-minded. It has to welcome in those who are focused on more traditional issues. It is unacceptable when a city like Philadelphia stands up like this. It is unacceptable for us not all to be together and be in that tent. My final political comment here is about something I would like to call the new politics. So, there are political insiders, no disrespect to them, I know some of them, but they have a theory, and the theory goes like this: if you want to win, you need the money. We've never had the most money. 3 times around, we've never had the most money. If you want to win, you need the institutions. You need the media to always be on your side. You need to have the local head of the political party on your side. We've never had that. We have never had either one of those things. You don't need the money. You don't need the institutions. You don't need all the flyers put through people's doors. You're supposed to do all of that because they tell you to do all of that. The TV ads, the radio ads, all that stuff. You're supposed to do all of that to get the votes. Well, there's a new politics. It's called just get the votes. It's called just do the job. This campaign started 8 years ago when we took office. We started with ideas and we moved from ideas to accomplishments. And yes, of course, there are and were mistakes that are made every day. But there is a new politics in this country, and it's pretty clear. The American people, Philadelphians, are tired of insiders who promise them things they don't do. They're tired of political dynasties. Ask Andrew Cuomo about that. They're tired of hearing the same last names generation after generation, whether it's Bush or even Casey, and I voted for Bob Casey, or if it's Cuomo. They're tired of it. They want people of goodwill with good ideas who are genuine, are going to tell the truth and take responsibility when they fail. That's what they want. And they can have it. People who have not been in politics, I'm asking you, get into politics. I didn't run until I was 56 years old. Get into politics. You are very much needed. The salvation of this country from a future dictator depends on people who've been outside, going on the inside. It depends on people who've never run for office before, but who have unique qualifications and have a moral compass to run. And if we do that, then we will serve our children, our grandchildren, and that's what we need to do. So, having said all of that, let me also say, I'm looking forward to an Eagles three-peat, a couple years. And for now, we're going back to work.